Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Pickaxe, an urban legend reborn.
Written and directed by Jeremy Sumrall, starring Tiffany Shepis, A. Michael Baldwin, Ashley Marie Zegabe, Elizabeth Redpath, Ben Warner, and Will Morgan. This movie's about a group of friends who are on their way to a concert and decide to stay at a cottage so they can party before the concert, of course. Little do they know that years prior, a crazy psycho killer murdered a bunch of teens and he's still lurking around. Right where the cottage is, John. You wouldn't believe it. Before we get into this isn't brought to us by Patreon. I know every time I say that it's like a Patreon thing. I just wanted to say that I've been waiting to see this forever. Jeremy Sumrall is the first person who was like an actor or director to ever comment on one of our videos. We reviewed Sweatshop really early on. Unfortunately, I've had to private that video and potentially have taken it down by now, simply because there's too many boobs in it for YouTube. But it blew our mind. We had like 80 subs at the time. We're like, this is the greatest thing in the world. We became friends on Facebook immediately, and I heard about this movie because he made it like years ago in 2014, and it was called like Pickaxe Murders 3 something. And I just thought we'd never get a release, and here it is, Wild Eye. He was holding out for the good distro. And shout out to Jeremy, he likes AEW. I'm rocking a Chris Jericho for you.
A little bit of the bubbly.
So what do we like?
I liked our cast. This is supposed to be a late 80s kind of movie, and I enjoyed our stereotypical characters. In particular, Tommy and Kevin. I don't know what it was about them. Maybe like the first shot of Kevin in that like...
And the cool mesh shirt?
Yeah, and the mesh shirt and the glasses was like, yeah, this guy's gonna be pretty funny. But Tommy was like the good boyfriend. And he had really good facial expressions.
Well, sure, it was shot more recently. It definitely had like an early 2000s vibe, to be honest. Like, it definitely felt like low budget, a bunch of friends getting together and making a movie. I know that doesn't sound like the highest praise, but I like that kind of thing because they'll do whatever the hell they want. They just throw every joke at the wall and hope it lands. Some of them do, some of them don't.
What? How do you not know how to fix this?
I'm not a fucking scientist.
The humor's different, the characters are different, there's lots of gratuitous nudity. As many boobs as you can, like, it's like, oh, we have a new girl entering the scene. All right, let's see what we can do here. Like, literally, they just walk into a bar and you're seeing boobs.
I just showed you my tits, and I said they were nice. But if you want to come in, I gotta see hers.
And speaking of that, I liked Sal. So another one of our early reviews was Girls Gone Dead. I think it was one of our first two. And Sal was a really scummy guy in that movie, and he's a really scummy guy in this one, but he was hilarious.
Yeah, you think you make bubbles
Shut
come out
up
of my
and-
nose with your flesh balloon?
Yeah, I'll make some bubbles come out of your nose like goddamn Elmer's glue, bubbling
Tiny
all
little
white and
cock.
goopy all over your stupid face.
Yeah, there was some really cool cameos in this film, like Hernandez, like the OG LAX member from TNA. This is a great cameo to have because he's like a beefcake. Gets taken down real easy, but I enjoyed seeing him in a movie. We love wrestlers in movies.
Marilyn, get naked. Unless you can help your con-law slob on this knob, why don't you do yourself a favor and clean this place up?
Eat me, Victor.
Yeah, we are gonna spoil some of this movie, by the way. There's not a lot to spoil, so thankfully you're good. People die.
Look off and die.
I both loved and hated Tiffany Shepis in this movie. She was actually on screen for quite a long time, which is really nice because there's a lot of times where she's just like a bit part. She'll come in for a second, get naked, and leave. Thankfully, that's not what happened here, but she was somewhat annoying as a drunk. I can relate. I get it.
You can relate.
You're the cop on the couch, and
Yeah.
I'm the Tiffany Shepis. I'll just be talking some drunk shit, and you're just like trying to figure a plan out. I don't know. She was annoying. I'm sorry. I have a reason because I don't want to talk to the camera all the time. She saw 10 of her friends get murdered in a lake. That sucks. So I get it, but I don't know. I didn't really love her character. I like that our killer was kind of a big ass dude just whooping ass. He came in all the time with his big pickaxe and just went for it and killed everybody in his way. It's almost as if no one even tried to attack him.
I actually really love the fact that they had this like massacre at the concert. We get like the cool killer going into public and just going on a rampage.
Yeah.
A murderous rampage.
An actual murderous rampage. He like busts open the back of the wall while there's like a band going on. And one of those band members, I'm pretty sure, was Priscilla Kelly. But he just like bursts on the scene. Just starts killing kids. I liked how excited that one guy got when his sister was gonna kiss some other girl.
That was awkward.
It was so weird. And I think he just like didn't realize that this was his sister in the movie.
I dare you to kiss Ashley.
Yeah. Now, what didn't we like? The biggest problem with this movie is absolutely the audio. The audio is horrendous.
Yeah, roll of plastic on the walls to prevent stains from your bodily fluids. She got me covered.
It seems like there wasn't a proper like boom mic or something, because some people you could hear, some people you couldn't, and it just sounded like maybe whoever was holding a camera was potentially covering up the mic. Is kind of what I deduce some of it to, because it sounds like a lot of people are in a tube for a lot of the movie.
Give me 10 minutes. If we don't find anything in 10 minutes, I'll give up. We'll look in the morning.
But it was weird and it was inconsistent as well from scene to scene. Sometimes you'd have okay audio, sometimes you'd have no audio, like that one girl.
So you gonna stage dive later? No.
This was also one of the most quiet concerts I've ever been to or watched, because like it was very soft.
Well, now I really need a fucking drink.
It sounded to me as if some of Tiffany Shepis' lines were ADR'd after the fact.
You have Ted's eyes. She has Ted's eyes.
And maybe some other people, but not everybody, that's for sure.
Oh, please tell me you have bean burritos.
To sleep alone tonight?
No, I just need a bean burrito.
But even when it came to like sound effects, you'd hear like guns going off and they'd have next to no impact.
But it wasn't just the audio that lacked impact. It was a lot of the kills I found, because there was moments where we even questioned if a character was killed. They would like fly in the air and we didn't know if it was they flew in the air because he threw them or his pickaxe swung and hit them. And then they would just lay there and blood would come out of their mouth. Now, if you like hit a tree with your back and get the wind knocked out of you, maybe you'll bleed a little from your mouth. But like, if you get hit with a pickaxe, then you should be bloody everywhere.
And I would say that the kills like didn't look as great. I really thought there was gonna be a lot more gore in this movie. There's like a couple scenes where you'll see like intestines or something, but for the most part, you'll just see some like blood coming down from someone's head or something like that. There's always potential for cooler kills.
Just like every Wild Eye Releasing movie, the cover art shows a really cool looking killer. That's not in this film.
It's not accurately representing the characters at all. I remember seeing like the original cover was like the actual killer. He has like a bag on his head. But like aside from his past of like just randomly killing people, we don't know why he decided to randomly kill people and how this amulet came into play. And I want to know more.
I heard it could also bring him back from the dead, but that requires a blood sacrifice.
The intent of this movie was to kind of be the middle of a franchise. Like, that's the joke. Pickaxe Murders 3, but it doesn't excuse the fact that as a single movie, there is a lot to be explained. Oh yeah, back to Tiffany Shepis. Unfortunately, I have to say, I didn't like her. In general, I don't think anyone has ever really acted drunk well.
Other than Jackie Chan.
Fine. Drunken Master is quality. I would watch a reboot with Tiffany Shepis as the Drunken Master, even though she was kind of like a subpar drunk here.
When she's throwing shit for no reason?
I did like when she threw shit at the bar. That was funny. Like, there's a couple times where you're like, she might have been drunk for that scene.
I don't like lesbians. So, fuck off.
But then there's other scenes where you're like, oh fuck, this is annoying.
Cream, sugar, or vodka?
I love Tiffany Shepis, but not her finest work.
I have mixed feelings with the overall story. I really enjoy like Teens in the Woods, that kind of slasher. I don't know why I didn't like the pacing and how this story played out. I think it was trying too hard to be funny and throw in all those tropes, but not everything hit the mark.
I didn't even think that there were that many tropes, to be honest. I get that there are some like subtle nods, of course. Adrian Palmer, Adrian King, and Betsy Palmer from Friday. Like, there's things that you can find as a slasher fan, but I didn't find like too much from like our characters. I didn't think there was enough.
Maybe that's what it is. I feel like the story is incomplete.
I agree. I think the director will also agree. He's like, I didn't mean for it to be a full one film and done. I think there were intentions to be a franchise. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. I've wanted to see this for quite some time, and I'm happy that we finally actually watched it. I'm glad it got a release. I genuinely didn't think it was ever gonna come out. Unfortunately, it wasn't as great as I had imagined. Maybe that was my built-up anticipation for it, but I don't think that's necessarily it. It suffers from a lot of faults found in the indie scene. The audio was poor and inconsistent. There wasn't the blood and gore I hoped for. And our killer didn't really have anybody to like have a showdown with. And nothing is really explained. I did, however, enjoy our characters, and I like kind of like the setup for the movie, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it still because I did have fun watching it, though I know it could have been a lot better. So I'm gonna give this 1.5 punishment fakeouts out of 5.
Miss Johnson, you should see these underwears that she's wearing. That's what I want you to get.
I really enjoy this style of film. I did have fun watching it, but it did fall a little flat when it came to the slasher aspect. The kills were there, they just weren't what I was hoping for. I did enjoy all our characters, and I thought they were really entertaining. It's just the situation and the story didn't do it for me. There was something missing. I just felt that there was a lot of loose ends and parts that could have been tied up nicely with a little bit better exposition. And our killer didn't really look the best. Maybe it's because I kept seeing the poster art and I was really excited for that. But still, I think there's going to be an audience for this film, but it wasn't necessarily for me. So with that being said, I'm going to give this film 2 jerkies out of 5.
Jerky?
I've had enough of that.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with everything Bloodbath and beyond.